Today we're taking a look at the not often reviewed Smith Wesson Model 411. The Model 411 was one of Smith Wesson's Value Series line of handguns and was produced from 1992 until 1996. Smith & Wesson's Value Series handguns were primarily geared for the duty and service pistol market, with a secondary market aimed at civilian users that were interested in a slightly less expensive sidearm. The Model 411 is a third-generation double-action, single-action, semi-automatic chambered in .40 Smith & Wesson that features a 4-inch barrel and a carbon steel slide, topped with low-profile, snag-free fixed sights. The frame is constructed of aluminum alloy, and the pistol utilizes 11-round magazines. The 411 features a slide-mounted safety that doubles as a decocker. When the safety is used, the trigger is disengaged from the firing system, as is the hammer. The hammer won't remain in a cocked position until the safety is released. A firing pin block prevents the hammer from hitting the firing pin even if the pistol was to be suddenly dropped, even if it landed directly onto the hammer. The magazine release rests just above the nicely undercut trigger guard and is easily accessible without having to change your grip on the gun. The Model 411 has a drop magazine feature that prevents the gun from being fired without a magazine in place. This feature was mostly incorporated for police use. Should an assailant grab and try to wrestle the gun away, the magazine could be dropped, rendering the pistol unable to fire. Theoretically, this would prevent you from being shot with your own gun. The slide release doubles as a takedown pin and functions the same way a lot of other semi-autos do when disassembling the pistol for routine cleaning and maintenance. Since we are talking about two almost identical pistols, the Model 410 and the 411, I'd like to quickly point out there are a few subtle differences. The sights on the Model 410 are polymer, not steel like the ones found on this Model 411. It also utilizes an upgraded steel guide rod instead of the plastic guide rod used in the Model 410. The magazines on the Model 411 are 11 round. The Model 410 came with two 10-round magazines. The magazines on the Model 410 and the Model 411 are interchangeable should you happen to live in an area limiting you to 10 rounds. Just simply buy the Model 410 magazines and use them in the Model 411. No big deal. The frame and trigger guard on the Model 411 are slightly different as well. This model has a couple of subtle enhancements that are also an upgrade over the Model 410. The face of the grip on the 411 is serrated, as is the front of the trigger guard. The Model 410 lacks these enhancements. The grips on the 411 are synthetic, one-piece wraparound style with a molded checkering on the side panels, as well as the back strap. Overall, the pistol feels very solid in the hand, and the extra-wide beaver tail prevents any chance from a nasty slide bite. Instead of Smith & Wesson's usual highly polished blued finish, the Model 411 is finished in a durable matte black to help keep the cost down. Unloaded, the gun weighs in at only 29 ounces. Pretty lightweight for an all-metal full-size pistol. The size, accuracy, and dependability characteristics of the Model 411 meets all the criteria required for an excellent personal and home defense handgun. The .40 Smith & Wesson round is more than capable in that role. Having fixed sights, an alloy frame, and less expensive finish doesn't mean that this pistol isn't typical Smith & Wesson quality. It most certainly is. The only thing that kept these excellent pistols from being more popular was the competition they faced from the cheaper to produce polymer framed offerings that were suddenly flooding the handgun market. That certainly doesn't mean that polymer guns were better, it just means that polymer guns offered a larger profit margin for the manufacturer. Smith & Wesson, as well as a host of other firearm manufacturers, were forced to change direction and adapt to a changing marketplace to stay competitive. Sadly, a lot of really fine handguns fell by the wayside, including the Model 411. Production of the Model 411 was finally curtailed in 1996. Now here we are some 21 years later, and the discontinued value series pistols are taking on a whole new value meaning. These feature-packed Smith & Wesson pistols can be found on the used handgun market at really affordable prices, often priced much lower than some of their polymer competitors. If you get a chance to pick up one of these fine Smith & Wesson Value Series handguns, don't hesitate. They're a better value now than they ever were. Well, that about wraps up this review. So until next time, practice often, shoot straight, and thanks for stopping by.